जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है इस भगवद गीता के।
We welcome all of you to this session of Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Gita.
हम अध्ययन कर रहे हैं प्रथम अध्याय का।
We are studying the first chapter, verse number 28.
पिछले पाठ में हमने पढ़ा
In the previous session, we studied that Bhagavan, when he heard Arjuna's statement or his order to place the chariot between the two armies, Bhagavan did that.
भीष्म द्रोण प्रमुखतः सर्वेषां च महिक्षिताम् उवाच पार्थ पश्येतान् संवेतान् कुरुनिति। उन्होंने भीष्म और द्रोणाचार्य के सामने रथ को स्थापित करके
So Bhagavan placed the chariot before Bhishma and Dronacharya and told Arjun to see the Kauravas. On hearing this statement of Bhagavan, Arjun's heart became disturbed. He got the feeling of possessiveness, mamatva, and those people whom he was addressing earlier as durbuddhi or evil-minded, those same people, now he was addressing them as his own people, his swajanas. And some moha got generated in his mind. Moha means to not understand any object as it is. Like, let's say a rope. If you start seeing a rope as a snake, it sometimes happens in the dark. If there is a rope lying in the dark, it appears as a snake. So this is called moha or brahma, illusion. So although in reality it is a rope, but it is appearing as a snake. So similarly, these Kauravas, they are in reality the enemies of Arjuna. But he is visualizing them, he's perceiving them as his bandhus, his relatives. So in this verse it is said, Sarvan Bandhun means everyone. Sarvan means everyone, all. It means all the different types of relations which are possible in our life, they are all present there. So that's why it appeared in his mind that these people will anyway get destroyed. They will all die. So in our life, we have so many relatives and they keep dying. There is nobody whose no relative has ever died. But he dies sometime. All relatives don't die together at the same time. So because one relative dies at some time, we express some grief, and then we become busy in our normal life. So when somebody dies, we get little bit of renunciation, which is called Shmashan Vairagya. It's like a temporary Vairagya, temporary renunciation. So like people go to the crematorium and there they talk some philosophy, what is the use of life. People come, people go.
टेलीविज़न देखने लगता है। तो और अगर पड़ोसी में किसी की मृत्यु हो जाती है तो उसको जाके शिक्षा भी देते हैं। तो मैं बता रहा था,
So I was telling that Arjun saw all his relatives, and Arjun, and in our life also, when we face the situation of grief, the difference is just that in our life, all relatives do not die at the same time together. Arjun, or in case of Arjun also, all are not dying together, but he got this type of doubt that all may die at the same time. So this is very important. He is telling that all my relations are present here and they will all die. So with this, you can imagine that if all our relatives die together, how we will feel. If we just try to imagine like this, so actually our life will be finished, because the life that we are living it with mamatva or possessiveness. Whatever rasa we have in our life, whatever we feel that we are feeling happy, it is because of mamatva or possessiveness. The actual rasa in life is that of possessiveness. One who doesn't have mamatva in his life, he is miserable. So that's why somewhere or the other we try to establish our mamatva. Actually, the mamatva is with human beings, because with human beings we reciprocate, we can discuss. But nowadays that has become little rare, discussing, making relations with humans. All this technology that we have, technology has separated human being from another human being. Even living in the same family, brothers, parents, father, mother, they are all discussing on WhatsApp. So technology has come in between us, and it has created a gap, a distance between us. And because of this, human beings are miserable, because the happiness that human beings perceive is because of mamatva, because of relations only. If somebody doesn't have any relation in his life, he wants to die, he wants to commit suicide. This person commits suicide. That's why if somebody has a breakup, boyfriend or girlfriend, so then it's a situation like they feel like they want to die. They feel see the world as vacant. They just keep crying as if they say that we have lost everything. For months together, they keep crying. So why do they react like this? Because their mamatva got destroyed, and rasa is from mamatva only. And now he is no longer getting rasa. Without anand, so without rasa, there is no ananda. Without ananda, their life is not worth living. That's why Upanishads say that. So without so if the mamatva is destroyed, we want to die. So this is the situation of Arjun. Wherever he has mamatva, mamatva is there in enemies also. Don't think that mamatva is only in relations, because when we say enemy, that is also my enemy. So if the enemy also goes away, then there is no rasa, because in front of whom will I prove myself? We want to prove ourselves that we are so brave, we are so courageous, we are so intelligent, we are so beautiful, and we derive pleasure by putting others down. So we do this among our own people also, like there is competition between brother sister. If a girl is beautiful, then her sister becomes envious of her. If one if one brother becomes more famous, he becomes more educated, then the other brother becomes envious. If you see, the brothers are the main people who keep criticizing the other brother. So it is not because the other one has actually done something, but it is just because of jealousy. He wants to show him, pull him down. Because whatever identity he has, it is all that is his brother. So it doesn't have any independence of his own. So he feels like this, that I am a very insignificant person. I don't have any existence. So that's why there is competition between father and son also. If son becomes too famous, initially father becomes happy, but then he feels sad also that I am nothing. He only has gone ahead. Even in mother and son, there is competition, or mother and daughter. So I have read stories like this, that if the daughter is very beautiful, she attracts all attention, and then mother becomes envious and she keeps criticizing the daughter. So this is all the game of possessiveness, game of mamatva. And we just consume this mamatva. So when we don't feel mamatva in human beings, we just keep mamatva in pet dogs, in cats. So why people are keeping so many pet animals? Earlier, people did not used to keep so many pet animals. If you go to market, you will see a separate department of dog food regarding their dress, their shampoo. There are dog parks. When I saw for the first time dog park in America, I was surprised. We don't have parks even for humans in India. And so there I saw that dogs are playing and human beings are sitting. So this is the situation. Why is it like this? Because the person wants mamatva. And if he is not getting that also, then he derives mamatva in shopping. People do so much of shopping. He doesn't need all this. His the basement is full of so many items. But why is he continuing to buy so much? He is looking for mamatva, that this is mine. He wants that possessiveness. So wherever there is no mamatva, there is no rasa. So your team won, you become very happy. The other team wins. Why don't you feel happy? They are also players. They are also working hard, but you do not have mamatva in them. So when there is India-Pakistan cricket match, it is like a war between two nations. And it's nothing less than that. It's exactly like this. And the if a if whichever country wins, India or Pakistan, the people celebrate as if they won a war. So it's actually like a war only. It's all because of mamatva. So why is it like that? It's because of this mamatva. So try to understand the mental state of Arjun, because our in our life also we face the same thing, but we do not have exactly same type of Vishad. So Arjun, he was overwhelmed with compassion. So compassion happens on our own people only. Nobody is compassionate on others. Compassion is on own people only. On our own country, own team, own family, own locality, own society. So we want to be compassionate on our own people, not on others. So Arjun had this Vishad. Now why we do not have this type of Vishad? Because we have very small situation and we keep tolerating it. But in case of Arjun, he suddenly got a big shock. Had told in the previous session also that this mamatva is of two types. One is blind possessiveness and one is possessiveness with deliberation. So Arjun's possessiveness is that of with deliberation. So it means he has a bigger range. Otherwise, even in the first verse, Dhritarashtra also had spoken of mamatva. he had also used the word Mamakaha.
तो उसने दो दो डिवीजन कर
So
दिया
he had, so Dhritarashtra had made two divisions,
साथ नहीं होता
my son's team and Pandava's team.
ऐसा सोचते हैं ना लोग हमारी
So people think like this.
हमारी टीम नहीं
Nobody thinks that, likes to think that my team will not win.
देखेगा ही नहीं
If he knows that his team will lose, then he won't even watch the match.
चल रहा है और
Many times people do like this. When people see that my team is losing, just switch off the television. They don't want to see that.
व्यक्ति ये सोचता है
So every person
तो वो
thinks like this, that my team will win.
अर्जुन ने विचार किया कि जीत हार छोड़ो यहाँ
But
पे सब
Arjun,
जीतने वाले हैं
he was not even thinking of this victory or defeat. He was thinking everyone is going to die here, and his mamatva will get destroyed, because there will be nobody remaining whom he can address as his grandfather or uncle or nephew
उसको कहूंगा
or brother. With whom will he address like that?
तो
And if he cannot do this,
कहाँ से
then
आएगा
how will he derive taste in his life?
एंजॉय करना चाहते हैं पार्टी करना चाहते हैं तो अपनों के साथ में करना चाहते हैं
When you want to enjoy, you want to have a party, you want to do it with your own people.
इच्छा होती है कि आप अपने लोग एक साथ
Even if you want to have food, your desire is to have food with your own people. Like when people drink and they do a party,
बाहर में क्यों जाता है
why does he go? Why does that drunkard
लगता है घर में
goes to the bar? He can drink in his home also,
ऐसा लगता है
and it will be cheaper also. He spends more money in the bar. He has to go drive to the bar, and when he's returning, there is fear of police also.
क्योंकि एक साथ
Why? Why does he want to go to the bar? Because there he will get company
तो भी फिर भी एक
of people who are like-minded,
हम सब एक साथ हैं
even though he may not know them, but he derives this feeling that we are all together.
के मन में ऐसा हुआ कि मेरा
So that's why
रहेगा ही नहीं
Arjun thought like this, that there will be nobody remaining with me. It's same like if I tell you that I will send you to moon, but you will never return from
दूंगा मैं
there.
खाना
I will give
पीना
you all types of facilities there. You want to eat, you want to roam around, but you cannot come back to Earth, and you cannot talk to anybody on Earth. So will you like to go to moon? Nobody will like to go. Why?
क्योंकि अपना तो कोई है ही नहीं
Because there is no own person there.
बड़ा हूँ
Whom will I show on moon that I am such a great person?
दिखाऊंगा
Whom will I display my bravery?
युद्ध के बाद में
Now this war will happen. So after war, there will be discussion also. Like if you have a match and after one team wins, the whole game doesn't stop there. People keep discussing, I did this, you did like that, we should have done this, should have done that.
प्रशंसा करते हैं
So people keep discussing, people appreciate the players who won the match. So that is the real taste. The real enjoyment is not in the game. In the game, there is simply tension. The real pleasure is after the game. Ideally, you should derive pleasure during the game.
खेलते समय आनंद लेंगे
The actual players, they should derive pleasure during the game. But during the game, people are in stress.
उसके बाद
And when they win, after that they drink.
क्यों पीते हैं तनाव इतना था ना उसको
Why do they drink?
बात करते
Because they had so much stress. And then they discuss about that.
नहीं होगा सुनने वाला
So when there is no own person who is ready to hear, whom will you show that I shot these type of arrows? See how I killed Karna.
हाँ प्रभास क्षेत्र
How when
लोग आपस
in Prabhas Kshetra, when the Yadavas they fought among each other and they died,
यहीं से तो उनका बात चालू हुई थी
their discussion began from here only.
कृतवर्मा
Because in this war, there was Kritavarma who was on the side of Duryodhan. There was Satyaki who was also alive. Satyaki was from Arjuna's side. He was Arjuna's disciple. So there in Prabhas Kshetra, these two were discussing this only. We did this, we did that, I did this.
वो अपना फिर
Because every person, he likes to boast about himself. He wants to exaggerate.
बहुत आनंद मिलता है क्योंकि
The Ahankar likes it a lot.
चाहता है
Because Ahankar always wants to be at the top.
ऐसे डिफीट
I am such a great person.
ये आर्गुमेंट दिया वो चुप हो गया
I defeated him like this. I gave this point, this argument in the debate, and he became quiet. I gave this type of kick. I gave this type of shot. I shot this type of arrow, like people tell in wrestling.
इसी बात को लेके उनकी तू
I used this trick and all. So, like this, these two people, Krita Varma and Satyaki, they had some argument regarding this.
रस है
and it blew up so much, the whole family got destroyed. So Arjuna is thinking that where will be the rasa in the life if all these people die? He will tell also later that the people for whom I am fighting, I derive this pleasure. If they all die, what will I do with all this property if everyone dies? Whom will I display this property? So that is also important because we want to show what we have to our enemy. So that gives rasa. So mamatva is rasa. So it is on both sides. Mamatva is from two sides. These are my relatives and these are my enemies. Now, in case of Arjun, mamatva is getting destroyed from both sides. So in our case, what may happen is that maybe one enemy gets dies or one relative dies. Not that all enemies, all relatives will die. But for Arjun, he sees that everyone will die together. So that's why when he saw all the relatives together, he became depressed. He went into depression. This is how people go into depression. Depression means no mamatva. Depression is connected with ahankara. His ahankar got deflated. That is what leads to depression. This is why the first chapter of Gita is Vishad Yoga. So, like this in our life also, we keep getting these small Vishadas and we keep tolerating them and we get used to it. That's why we are unable to deliberate, like Arjun is deliberating. And some people, they think that don't study Gita. If you study Gita, you will become a Vairagi, your relations will get destroyed. It's not like that. The thing is that our mind is currently divided. This belongs to me, that is mine. So our mind is divided into multiple parts. That's why it just keeps getting attracted here and there. That's why we get little bit of pleasure, but mostly we get problem only. Because from where we are getting rasa, from the same place we get poison also. So in Samudra Manthan, in the churning of the ocean, first there was poison, nectar came later. So the relations from which we get nectar, from those relations we get poison also. So there is fighting and then there is love, because where else we will go? We want some rasa. So that fighting also becomes part of rasa. And then we say that no, it keeps happening. But in reality, our mind, if it can become one, fixed up, then that is real pleasure. And that is what Gita wants to teach us. Gita is not telling us to leave home and become a Vairagi. Even Arjun, after studying Gita, he did not leave his home. People in India, they are very much afraid that if their children study Gita, they will leave their home. I remember in my childhood in village, uh, during Radhashtami, the sadhus used to come. So because with that sadhu, from this connection, the people in my village, they used to follow Radha Vallabh Sampradaya. They were initiated. The whole village was initiated in Radha Vallabh Sampradaya. So they used to come here. So there was one lady who was a widow, and she went and purchased a Gita. That time, the Gita press, Bhagavad Gita, its price was just 2 paisa. So he purchased a Gita. The son purchased a Gita, and mother become very angry. Why did you purchase the Gita? Return it, otherwise you will become a Babaji. Purchase something else. So she forced him to return the Gita. So people have these type of wrong thoughts. But actually, Gita teaches us the art of life. That's why we have entitled this lecture series as Bhagavad Gita and Our Life, because it is showing how we can make our mind one. but currently it is divided into various parts. So mind can become one when only can become united only when Bhagavan becomes the center. So Gita is not telling us to run away here and there. Gita is showing us the reality. So now the compassion that Arjun is feeling, it is out of moha, because he had come to these kill these people, and now he is feeling compassionate on these people, and later he will again fight with these people.
ये व्यक्ति जिनको बोल रहा है ना, उसने सभी कहा ना सर्वान बंधु, अगर ये उसके बंधु नहीं होते,
So these people, Arjun is addressing them as their relatives. If they would not have been relatives, Arjun would not have fought with them.
दूसरी तरफ जो लोग खड़े हुए हैं,
The opponents
कोई भी उसके घर परिवार का नहीं
in the other party, if they were not of his family, if there were some third party people, would Arjun not fight with them? He would definitely fight with them.
सोचना कि वो कोई अहिंसक
So
बन गया है।
don't think that Arjun has become non-violent.
कि अर्जुन जो
This
है
is the
हिंसा की
mistake
बात
that
कर रहा है,
people
भगवान
make.
जो है
They
उसको
think
बोल
that
रहा है
Arjun is talking of
भगवान
non-violence and Bhagavan is forcing him
उसको
to
समझा रहा है
fight.
कि तुम्हारी अहिंसा
Bhagavan
जो है वो
is
कैसे की
simply teaching him that
उसका कोई
your
मतलब नहीं है।
non-violence, it is simply fake.
उसको यही
It
दिखाना
has
चाहते हैं।
it has no value.
हमारे मन में अनेक प्रकार की भ्रांतियां बैठी रहती हैं,
Because in our mind we have all
हम उन्हें
kinds
सत्य
of
समझते हैं, तो भगवान
wrong thinking
दिखाना
and
चाहते हैं
we
कि
think that
सर्प
it is
सच नहीं है,
true.
वो सर्प है
So
नहीं,
Bhagavan is
वो
teaching
एक्चुअली
that what
स्नेक है।
you are thinking as a snake, it is not a snake, it is actually a rope.
तो
So
भगवान
better
दिखाना
wake up.
चाहते हैं
So
कि
Bhagavan
अर्जुन
is trying
जागरूक
to
हो,
wake us up.
अर्जुन भागना चाहता है,
Don't
भगवान
run
उसको
away,
जगाना
wake
चाहते हैं,
up.
क्योंकि भागने से
Arjun
क्या
wants
होता
to
है।
run away, but Bhagavan wants to
मान लो
wake him
कि
up.
ये युद्ध छोड़ने
Because
वाला
where
है
will Arjun run away?
और सन्यासी
Suppose,
भी बन जाता
assume
है,
Arjun would have run
तो
away also
भागेगा
and he
नहीं,
would
युद्ध
have
करता
become
ही
a
नहीं,
sannyasi. Would he
उसका
not
अहंकार में
fight
चोट लग
there?
जाता, तुरंत
There
भाग
also
जाता,
he
मैं
would
करूँ
fight.
कौन।
Anybody,
तो
if he
साधु
would
बनने के
attack
लिए
Arjuna's ahankar,
साधु
then
बनने के
Arjun
लिए
would
पहले
fight
बुझाना
as a
पड़ता है कि
sannyasi.
मैंने ये कर दिया,
Sadhus many
यहाँ
times
कैसे आ
think
गए,
like
तो
this.
आप ऐसे
If
करोगे,
you
आप
attack the
वैसे
ahankar
करोगे।
of a sadhu, sadhus also react
तो
that you
ये
don't know who I am, I
साधु बनने
belong to this
इसलिए
lineage, I belong to this
गीता में
family.
भगवान कहते हैं ना
So anyway, he will
कि
retain his material
जो
ego.
सोचता है कि तू युद्ध नहीं
So
करेगा,
that's why at the
वो
end,
युद्ध
Bhagavan says
करेगा।
that if you think that
प्रकृति
you
तुमको
will not
युद्ध
fight in this war, that is your wrong thinking, you will definitely fight.
तुम्हारी प्रकृति तुमको युद्ध में लड़ाई
Your
करने के लिए
prakriti, your
उकसाती है।
nature will force you to
अगर वो
fight.
जंगल में जाके सन्यासी बन जाता है,
Even if Arjun goes to forest
वहां
and
जाके
becomes a
शेर आ जाता है,
sannyasi
तो वो क्या
and
करेगा,
a lion
युद्ध
comes
करने
there,
लगेगा उससे।
what will Arjun do? Will he just
तो
continue
उसकी
bhajan? He is a
उसकी
brave
पूरी
person.
ट्रेनिंग
He will
अलग है,
fight against that lion also. His
उसको
whole
भागने की
training is
अलग
of
है।
fighting only. Will he just forget his whole
तो उसके
training in
मन
2
में ये जो
minutes?
इमोशंस हैं, ये जो
So
भावनाएं
all
हैं,
this
ये
emotion
अविद्या
that he
चलती
is
हैं, ये सब
showing,
प्रकृति
it
है।
doesn't continue for long. It
ऐसा
won't
नहीं है कि
continue
वो
because
समय
that
के
is
लिए
not his
होता है,
nature. Because some
बाद में फिर
person he tells
पछताता है।
something out of anger,
तो ऐसा
later
क्यों
he
होता है, क्योंकि वो
repents.
जो गुस्सा है
Why?
वो उसकी
Because
प्रकृति नहीं
that
है, वो
anger is not his
आ
nature.
जाता है, फिर वो
It is
निकल जाता
just
है।
a temporary
जिसने गुस्सा
emotion
किया था उसके
and
साथ
then
कोई
it
संबंध है, फिर वो
changes.
देखने लगता है, फिर कहता नहीं, मैं ऐसा
And
नहीं
then he
था,
starts
ये
being the
गलती
same
हो गया,
person
मुझे
as his
क्षमा कर
relative
दो।
and then he repents that please forgive
तो
me,
बेटा, तो
etc.
अर्जुन की जो प्रकृति है वो तो एक
So
योद्धा की प्रकृति
Arjun's
है,
nature is
क्षत्रिय है,
that of a warrior.
उसने अनेक
He
युद्ध
is a
लड़े हैं।
kshatriya, he is a
तो
brave
अचानक से क्या हो
warrior.
गया, वो अहिंसक
He has
बन
fought
गया।
so many wars. Suddenly, how will he become
अगर वो
non-violent?
वास्तव में अहिंसक होता तो भगवान गीता
If
बोलते
he
ही
would
नहीं,
have actually been non-violent,
वो तो
Bhagavan would have
मेरे
not
को
spoken
बोलता
Gita
है
to
कि तू
him.
बड़ा योगी है,
Because he would have told that I never
तो
knew
उसको
that you
पता
are
है
such a
कि
big
वो जो
yogi, a big
बोल रहा है
vairagi.
ये पूरी बकवास है,
So actually, Bhagavan knows that whatever
ऐसा
Arjun
नहीं
is
है,
speaking is all nonsense. It has no meaning.
ये 2 मिनट में बदल जाएगा,
And he will just
अभी ये वापस जाने वाला
change
है।
in 2
और
minutes.
यही लोग इसको कहेंगे अरे डरपोक, डर के भाग गया, तो इसका फिर खून खोल जाएगा।
So if Arjun runs
अगर ऐसा
away
कोई
and when
तुम्हारी बात
others
सुनना नहीं
will
चाहता,
attack him by telling that he is a coward, he is running away,
तो फिर
Arjun's
कहेंगे ये
blood will
भगवान
start
है,
boiling again.
ये बोलेंगे इसको।
He'll become angry. And this is what
हे
Bhagavan will tell him.
मन से तो हम महारथ, ये महारथी लोग
Arjun Bhagavan will tell him
डर के मारे
that
भागे,
these
अब
Maharathis
क्या करोगे,
will tell that you ran away out of
शांत रहेगा,
being
कभी
cowardice.
शांत नहीं रहेगा।
So
कहेगा
will you
क्षत्रिय
remain
महारथ
quiet?
कहता है आजा लड़
So
लेते हैं।
you will start
तो
fighting.
कोई
That
बंधु जो
you will
जिसको
become
बोल रहा है
enraged.
वो
That how can you call me a
समझाएगा
coward?
उसको,
So those people whom he is
तो फिर
addressing as bandhus, that time
तो
he will not
यही
see them
इसको
as
समझना
bandhu.
है, क्योंकि जब तक इसको हम
So
नहीं
this is what we
समझाएंगे
have
तब
to
तक पता नहीं
understand.
भगवान आगे क्या
Unless we
बोलते हैं, ये
understand
समझ
this,
में नहीं आएगा।
what Bhagavan will tell later, we will not
हमारी जो
understand that.
मूल समस्या है उसका
The
समाधान
main problem that Bhagavan is the main problem that we have,
समाधान
Bhagavan
सुनना
is
है।
giving its solution.
ये भी बहुत बड़ा मजेदार
So the word samadhan, in Sanskrit, it is very interesting. It comes from the word samadhi. Samadhi also means samadhan or solution only.
हैं उसको समाधि बोलते हैं योग में, तो वही
Samadhi
समाधान
means when you are placed beyond the duality of our attachment and aversion. And Bhagavan will give this solution to him. Bhagavan will tell that you fight, but rise beyond victory, defeat, raga, dvesh. Then you will not get implicated in papa. This is samadhi. It is not the samadhi where you are just situated in yoga and you get into samadhi. This is the samadhi of karma yoga. So if somebody works in the state of samadhi, he will not have any vishad, no depression, no grief, because he will rise beyond this duality. You will derive pleasure from all the relations, because now those relations will be established on the platform of truth, not of illusion. Because now you'll understand that these relations have come in my life based on my past karma, and they can go away or they can get destroyed at any moment. And you will deal with them considering them as anshas of Bhagwan, and can actually have prema for them. Currently, the prema that we have, it is just like a pendulum. Sometimes there is attachment, sometimes there is hatred, then again attachment, again hatred. So that's why now see what Arjun is speaking.
तो अर्जुन देखिए वो कहता है कि
So
हे कृष्ण युद्ध
Arjuna said, O Krishna, seeing these kinsmen present here, desiring to fight, my limbs are becoming numb and my mouth is parched. My body is trembling and the hairs on my body are standing on end. So the main point here is that seeing these kinsmen, upon seeing these kinsmen, because his possessiveness has got activated, and seeing these kinsmen, he felt compassionate, which is not actual compassion. And this is what we have to understand. People get bewildered by this display of compassion.
जब हमारी कहीं आसक्ति रहती है, ममत्व रहता है, तो उसके प्रति
Wherever we have attachment, we have mamatva, we have this feeling that we want to do anything for that person, but that feeling doesn't continue, because if that other person tells something to us, it does something to us, then our mamatva is destroyed, then we feel grief, we feel despondent. So he is here for fighting the war. So seeing this kinsman, Arjuna's whole body started trembling. He is such a brave person. His situation became very. If he is actually having compassion for these people, why is his body trembling? If you feel compassionate towards somebody, will your body start trembling? Will your body react like this? It doesn't happen like that. If we have compassion towards somebody, then it's very good. So what kind of compassion is this? One side you said that he was overwhelmed with compassion, and because of compassion there is grief, and because of grief this situation. So this is actually because his mind has changed.
संकल्प के अनुसार चलता है, इसलिए इस
Our body reacts according to our sankalpa. That's why
the stumps, it is hitting
it
the
is very
stumps,
important
end
to
of.
have the correct,
But actually,
maintain the sankalpa. According to sankalpa only person gets energy. One whose sankalpa doesn't have power, he will not become successful in any field. So Arjun is a very brave person. He is very determined. it is Arjuna's vow that he will never show his back towards the enemy, he will never run away from the battlefield. But now what happened? His mental state has changed. So our body, it is just an extension of the mind only. It works according to the mind only. In if there is grief or despondency in the mind, then body reacts accordingly. If mind is encouraged, then body also feels vigor. That's why Rup Goswami says, Utsahat Nishchayat Dhairya. First of all, we need to have enthusiasm. So his enthusiasm got destroyed because of this moha. What is being called here as kripa, it is actually moha. Because of mamatva, attachment. That doesn't mean that we should not have mamatva, because we cannot live without mamatva. But the foundation of mamatva, it should not be based on moha. Moha should not be the foundation. The compassion that Arjun is having, it is generated from moha. But actually, it should be generated from knowledge. And that knowledge will be imparted by Bhagavan. Until and unless our mamatva is not based on knowledge, we will keep falling into grief. And then how do people try to get rid of their grief? They mostly get into intoxication. Mostly this is what people do.
पर उससे वो मोह तो दूर नहीं होता है ना.
They will go here and there, watch something. But unless we try to find a solution for this moha, it will just not work. What people do, drinking, intoxication and all, that is not the solution. The solution is samadhi. So we have to rise beyond this duality. And that's what Bhagavan will teach in Gita. So Arjuna's limbs of his body, they became numb. And why? Why it happened? Because he saw his kinsmen. So seeing his relatives, why did his body become numb? He is not seeing his relatives, he is seeing the death of his relatives. He is just imagining that now these relatives, they will all die. And because of that, he is feeling, he is lamenting. Now this type of description will continue.
मेरा गांडीव धनुष हाथ से गिर.
My next verse translation. My bow Gandiva slips from my hand, and my skin indeed burns all over. I am unable to stand properly, and my mind appears to be reeling.
तो अगर आप ये ऐसा अनुभव करते हैं तो देखने में तो ये लगेगा कि
So if you just feel, try to understand, what you will may feel is that Arjun is having fever, is having some malaria maybe.
बुखार आता है तो
This is what happens when a person starts having fever. His
मतलब बुखार आ गया.
body is hot,
भगवान ने को कहना चाहिए
means there is fever. So Bhagavan must have told, okay, take this tablet. Your fever will go down and then you can fight.
महासुदर्शन चूर्ण की बटी ले ले.
Take some Mahasudarshan Churna tablet
चूर्ण खा
or
ले.
Jwarantak Churna
ज्वर हो गया है.
because you are having jwar or fever.
ऐसा होता है ना बुखार जब
This is what happens when people have fever.
शरीर कांपने लगता है.
Body is shivering and we feel cold, can't stand properly, we feel like lying down. That's what Arjun is telling, that I am not able to stand properly.
चक्कर खाता है.
Mind is reeling.
तो भगवान ने कहा अभी वैद्य को बुलाऊं मैं किसी को.
So Bhagavan should have told that I am calling a Vaidya now.
दवाई है. तो उन्होंने ऐसा नहीं कहा.
I can call some doctor who will give you good medicine. So he didn't tell
ये वायरस
all this because he knew this virus is not in his body, the virus is in his mind.
इसको निकालना है.
That's what I have to uproot.
वायरस को अगर आप ठीक से हिंदी में प्रोनाउंस करें तो वीरस
So
होगा।
if you pronounce virus properly in Hindi, it will be virus.
RUS है तो उसको वायरस बोलते हैं, वाई क्यों बोलते हैं, वी बोलिए खाली।
Why do you call it Y?
VI
Should
होता है
called
तो विक्ट्री
V,
बोलते हैं।
because in victory VI is pronounced as V,
तो वायरस
victory,
का
not victory.
हिंदी में, हिंदी वाला
So
जो बोलेगा
virus,
तो उसको वीरस,
if a Hindi person reads virus, he will read it as
तो उसका
virus.
रस खत्म हो गया।
That means his rasa got destroyed.
वायरस जो है
Is
ना
devoid of
रस कर
rasa.
देता है,
The virus makes us
इसको रस हो
virasa,
गया है।
devoid of rasa. So his
इसको
rasa
भूल
is
गया है।
gone away. That's
तो
why he is
जिसको जो है
despondent.
उसके मन में है,
So this lack of
और
rasa, it is in his mind,
तो उसी
and
का
that
नाम
is
है
because of
मोह।
his moha,
लेकिन
and
यहाँ
that's what he
पे
is
हमारा जो मन है
describing.
वो ये है
But
कि
what is
हमारा ये
interesting here is
स्वयं नहीं
that
समझ रहा है कि
Arjun
हम
himself
हैं।
is not understanding this. What
और
is
ऐसा
the
होता है
cause?
हमारे जीवन में भी कि
This
हमारे
is
मन
what
में
we happens in our life
कोई
also.
संकल्प आता है,
Whatever sankalpa,
हम सोचते
whatever
हैं ये ऐसा
desire
ही
we
ठीक है।
have,
जब हम कुछ
we
करना
feel
चाहते
that
हैं,
this is only
कभी
correct.
भी कुछ भी करते हैं तो उसके पीछे हमारी
Whenever we
कुछ
want to
उसके
do
पीछे कुछ इच्छा
something,
होती है।
when we have
और
when we want to
हमारे
do
मन में
something, there is some desire
ये
behind that.
रहता है कि ये
And
मेरे
in
को
our
सुख
mind,
देगा,
there is a
मेरे
resolve
को आनंद
that
मिलेगा, सुख मिलेगा, ऐसा ही सोचते
if
हैं।
if I can
लेकिन हो
accomplish
सकता
this
है कि ना हो,
activity, if I can become
लेकिन
successful, I
फिर
will
भी हम
derive
उसी हिसाब
pleasure,
से काम
whether
करते हैं।
it actually happens or
और
no.
फिर मन में जो
But
इच्छा
our
होती है
intelligence
उसको
thinks
पूर्ण
like
करना
that.
चाहते हैं, और ये सोचते हैं कि
And
इसके
whatever
पीछे कुछ
desire we
ईश्वर
have in
है
our
जो
mind, we
मुझे
want to
देगा।
fulfill that
तो
desire.
हम
And we feel that if
उसको
this
सिद्ध
desire is
करना चाहते
fulfilled,
हैं
we'll be
दूसरों के
happy.
लिए कि
So
कैसे
that's why we
और
want to
ज़्यादा
fulfill
सुखी
that
रहें।
desire.
चाहे कोई आदमी चोरी करना
And
चाहे
we want to prove how what I
तो
am
सोचता है
thinking
कि
is
चोरी
correct.
करने से मेरे को
Even
कुछ
if a
मिलेगा,
person wants to
और
steal and he thinks that I will get
स्कैंडल करना
money
चाहता है,
by stealing, or he wants to do
ठगना
some
चाहता है,
scandal or some
तो वो
scam,
सोचेगा
some
इससे मेरे को सुख
corruption,
मिलेगा, इसलिए तो
he
करता
thinks
है।
that he will derive pleasure from that.
और
That's why people
उसको
do
यदि
that.
मालूम भी हो कि ये गलत काम
And
है तो
even if he
उसको कुछ ना
knows
कुछ कारण
that it is
ढूंढेगा,
wrong, he
उसको
will
मतलब
try
सिद्ध
to
करना
find the
चाहेगा कि
cause,
कैसे ये ठीक है इसको करना।
how to
तो
prove that it is
इसको
correct.
बोलते हैं रैशनलाइजेशन,
So that is called
यानी
rationalization.
कि तर्कपूर्ण वाक्य बोलना,
Means
उसको तर्क
to
से
speak
सिद्ध
something
करना
with logic.
क्यों मैं
So
ये
he will
करूंगा
try
तो
to
ये
prove
होगा।
his
तो प्राय
thought
क्या होता है हमारे जीवन
flow
में
by
कि हमारे
logic,
मन में कुछ
that how what he is
इच्छाएं,
thinking is correct. So
भावनाएं,
generally what
विचार,
happens that we have
और
these
हम उनको ठीक
desires, we have
समझते
these
हैं,
bhavas in our
चाहे वो
mind,
ठीक ना हो,
and we think that it
और
is
फिर हम
correct,
दूसरों को सिद्ध करते हैं कि ये क्यों
and we
मुझे
want
ऐसा
to
करना
prove to
चाहिए।
others that why I am doing like
क्योंकि
this.
कोई भी आदमी अपने को गलत नहीं देखना
Because no
चाहता,
person he wants to
कोई भी आदमी
see
अपने को
himself as
धार्मिक नहीं देखना
wrong.
चाहता है।
No person
चाहे
wants
वो
to see
चोर
himself or
क्यों
herself
नहीं
as
चाहता कि लोग मेरे
irreligious.
को धार्मिक कहें,
Even a thief, a
इसलिए वो
murderer,
दान देता है इधर
a
उधर,
robber wants
मेरा
to be
नाम रोशन
perceived
हो
as
जाए।
very dharmic.
कोई नहीं चाहता
So
कि लोग उसको
these criminals, they also give
धार्मिक कहें।
donations. They want to be
तो
perceived
उसमें
as religious.
व्यक्ति या
They
फिर
don't
कोई
want to
दूसरे एक्सट्रीम
be
पे चले जाए
perceived
कि लोग
as
कहें
some
कि
low
इससे बड़ा
class
चोर
people.
कोई नहीं है,
Or maybe they
ऐसा
can
भी होता है।
go to
तो
another
उसमें भी
extent to
बुरा
prove
लगता है, चलो
that
ऐसा भी
people
होगा
uh,
कि
praise
इससे
them
बड़ा
as the
धोखेबाज कोई नहीं है,
biggest robber,
इससे बड़ा डाकू कोई
the
नहीं है।
best criminal,
तो
the
अहंकार जो
topmost
है
criminal.
वो
So the
एक्सट्रीम पे रहना
ahankar
चाहता है,
always wants to be in
वो बीच में
extreme.
नहीं रहना चाहता,
Ahankar never wants
बीच
to
में
be in the
आनंद नहीं
middle
आता है,
because there is no pleasure in the
समुद्र
middle.
आता है।
Ananda is on the extreme.
चाहे मैं सबसे नीचा हूँ या सबसे ऊपर हूँ,
Either I
सबसे
am the
बड़ा
lowest
धर्मात्मा हूँ
or am the
या
topmost.
सबसे बड़ा दुरात्मा हूँ।
Either I am the
इसलिए बोलते
best
हैं कि ऐसा करने वाले
religious
का अखबार में
person
तो नाम आएगा,
or I am the
गलत काम करने का तो
worst.
अखबार में
So
नाम
many
आएगा,
people
लेकिन
want to
होगा
see
अल्प।
their face in
लोग मेरा
newspaper by
लोग
doing
मेरा अखबार
wrong
पढ़ेंगे,
activity.
टीवी पर आएगा, लोग मेरे बारे में कहेंगे, तो लोग मरने के बाद भी चाहते हैं कि मेरा नाम हो, हालांकि मरने के बाद
People
तुम्हारा नाम
want that even after dying, their name, their face should be in the newspaper. But what will he achieve by
तो
that? But this is
अर्जुन
just because of
इस बात को नहीं
ahankara.
समझ रहा है
So
कि
Arjun
वास्तव
himself
में
is not
मेरी जो
understanding
बुद्धि जो है वो
that
कमजोर है,
actually his
इस
mental
अहंकार में,
state
मेरे इस
has
ममत्व में,
become weak
और ये जितने
because
भी
of
चिन्ह
this
मेरे शरीर में
attachment,
अब
this
दिखाई दे रहे
possessiveness,
हैं, ये उस
and
अहंकार
whatever
के कारण है।
signs he is seeing, it is all
क्योंकि अगर वो
because of his
इनको कमजोरी
weakness.
सोचेगा तो फिर इनका वो कुछ
Because
समाधान निकालेगा,
if he
लेकिन वो ऐसा
understands
नहीं सोच रहा
this is his weakness, then he'll
है,
find
इसलिए
his
वो
solution.
केवल
But he is not
भ्रांति
thinking
में
like that. So rather than
यहाँ से
finding solution to the
भगवत गीता
his
के अंत तक
weakness, he will
47वें श्लोक
simply
से,
try to
और
prove
इसी
himself
श्लोक से
by giving
47वें
logical
श्लोक तक
arguments. So now the upcoming statements of Arjun will simply be his own logic to prove that why he should not fight the war. And all these logic is are simply based on his false thinking that he is a very religious person. He does not want to accept that he has become afraid. Although in the second chapter, when Bhagavan will start addressing him, Bhagavan will simply tell that you are an important person. Bhagavan will tell that you think you are a religious person. Bhagavan will make simply fun of him because Bhagavan is seeing clearly that what is happening to Arjun. But Arjun cannot see that. Now, this happens in family also. That the father sees that what my son or daughter is doing is completely wrong. But the son or daughter cannot see that. So, like this, lot of clash continues. So the father says that don't do this is wrong. So the son says, no, no, you don't understand, you are old fellow, you don't understand. Because everyone has his ahankar. So the young people, they think that parents are simply talking of some old stuff. We know new technology, they don't even know how to operate the computer. So they think that parents are simply fools. So the young people think like this. And the parents who have experienced all this, they simply want to advise the youngsters, but youngsters won't listen. Now this is a big problem in life. Now how do you understand, how do you make him understand? You can't slap him because he is not a small kid.
देते हैं, अब जब वो बड़ा हो जाता है तो वो नहीं कर सकते.
When child is small, you can slap him, you can chastise him, but when the child grows up, you cannot do that. So because of this, there is lot of fighting, there is lot of clash tension in the family. So then we call it generation gap. So the youngsters say that you are very old fashioned, you have old thinking, but I am of modern thinking. But Bhagavan is not like that, he knows everything. So try to understand Bhagavan's situation. He is so compassionate. He simply keeps hearing what Arjun is speaking because arguing with such a person is meaningless. So Bhagavan is thinking that let him just keep speaking. How much will he speak? Arjun has this great quality. He has Shraddha in Bhagavan. He's not like the modern kids who actually don't have Shraddha in their parents. They consider their parents to be fools. Arjun doesn't think of Bhagavan like this. This is great quality. He is thinking that why Bhagavan is not speaking anything. He is simply hearing me. He is not supporting me. So he starts getting this doubt that maybe something is wrong. Then he says that please advise me. So this is speciality of Gita, that the Guru Shishya here,
शिष्य भी ऐसा करते हैं ना, सोचते हैं
so many times disciples think like this, that this Guru, what does he know? He is of old thinking, he talks of old fashioned culture.
वो गुरु शिष्य में भी होता है, लेकिन यहाँ
So what happens between father and son, it also happens between Guru and disciple. So he is telling that my Gandiva bow is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning all over. So this is that same brave person. If Bhagavan tells him here that let's okay, run away from here, that time he will run away. As of now, he is telling that I am not able to stand. But if Bhagavan says that okay, let's run from here, then he will have all the energy then for running away even though now he is telling that he is not even able to stand. Because if Bhagavan tells that run away, because then what Bhagavan is speaking is matching with his desire. So when you face something which is matching with your desire, then you feel very energetic. But if something is against your desire, then you don't feel energetic. Like when you go to office, you don't have any energy, but when you come back, you have so much energy. Like you have seen children, when there is holiday from the school, they are so energetic to run away from the school. So Arjun is also having same situation. It's not that he has actually lost energy. If you speak something which is matching with his desire, then he will have all the energy, he will run away. Now you can see from verse 31 onwards, he will start giving his logic. So now try to see Arjun from the point of view of Bhagwan.
तो कहता निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनम आहवे। वो कहता है हे केशव,
O Keshav, I also see adverse omens, and I do not foresee any good by killing my kinsmen in battle.
तो सबसे पहले जो है वो शकुन की बात करता है, ओमेंस।
So first he is talking of omens.
आए थे बिल्ली हमारा रास्ता काट गई,
So like people say, the cat crossed my path. So that is a evil omen. That means then we should not fight. It's an evil omen. It doesn't know that the omens that he is seeing, only he is seeing or others are also seeing. Because what is going to happen, that will happen for everyone, not just for him. So the omens that he is seeing, they should be visible to others also. And even if they are not visible to others, then they will also face the result, or only he will face. They will also face. He is not telling that. So it is not clear here from this verse what type of omens he is talking of. Maybe he is considering the symptoms that he is seeing on the body, he is seeing them only as evil omens, like his body is burning, etc. So maybe from this only he is trying to predict that he will not be able to win, or he should not fight. So that's why he is saying that I am not able to see. And then again he is bringing the same point of Swajana, my relatives. So this word Swajana is very important. So he is telling that I do not see any good by killing my kinsmen in this battle. That means if these were Parajanas or other people, not my relatives, then I would have killed them. That is the meaning that we get. That if these people were not my relatives, if they were my enemies, then there was no problem. That means Arjun has not become non-violent. His non-violence is simply limited to his own people. And this is not some ahimsa. The only thing what is happening is his own enemies, he is perceiving them as his own people, his relatives. But the other people are not thinking like this.
और यहाँ पे ये जो आहावा ये शब्द है, इसका मतलब युद्ध होता है, लेकिन ये
so the ahava shabd, it means battle, but it actually comes from this, like we have this word havan. So it is from the same dhatu from which we have got this word havan, this ahava word, same like havan. So it is actually like a havan. Havan is yagnya. Yagnya is also called havan, yagnya, home, satra. These are all words for yagnya. So ahava means this battle is like a yagnya, and like in yagnya there is sacrifice of animals, and that animal on being sacrificed goes to heaven. Similarly, these people will all be sacrificed. Like Arjun is what he is telling, that I do not see any Shreya. Like Dharma Shastra says that people who die in battle, they go to Swarga. and here the Bhagwan himself is present, so all of them will get moksha. So here the doorway to moksha is open. Bhagwan will also tell later that here the door of heaven is open in this battle. Whoever will die here will go to Swarga. But according to Bhagavatam, whoever died there, they all got moksha because they all got darshan of Bhagwan at the end. So that is why ahava word is used here, just to indicate this. So like this, Arjun will give more arguments later also to prove why he should not fight the battle. And we will continue that in the next class. If you have any question, you can ask.
कोई प्रश्न है? नहीं है तो बंद करते हैं.
If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, let's stop here.
उपेंद्र जी,
बोलिए. उपेंद्र जी बोलिए, अनम्यूट करके. क्या तो बोल नहीं रहा.
प्रशांत जी,
बोलो भाई.
हेलो,
बंद
प्रणाम
करता
बाबा
हूँ.
जी।
हाँ बोलिए.
मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि अज्ञान के कारण हमें आसक्ति होती है अपने सगे संबंधियों से, जिस उसमें अज्ञान की वजह से हमें रस मिलता है, परंतु यह जानकर भी कि वह ईश्वर के अंश है, हमें स्वतः प्रेम क्यों नहीं होता?
स्वतः प्रेम इसलिए नहीं होता कि आप
So why don't we feel natural love, but rather are always attached out of ajnana? So that is because we do not have knowledge of the truth. If we have prema for Bhagwan, we will have prema for his anshas also. If you have love for anyone, you also have love to people who are related.
आपके पुत्र बेटा बेटी कोई है, उनसे कोई प्रेम आप है, उनसे कोई प्रेम करता है तो उनके साथ में कोई अच्छा व्यवहार करता है तो आपको बहुत अच्छा लगता
So if somebody does something good for our relatives, our parents, brothers, sisters, we feel nice about them also. We love them also. Another question is,
संकल्पों में शक्ति से हमें सफलता मिलती है, तो यह
you
संकल्प
said that we get energy from our sankalpa shakti.
हम संकल्पों को में उतनी शक्ति नहीं होती, तो हम इसको कैसे अपने संकल्पों को और शक्ति
So
कर
how
सकते हैं?
can we make our sankalpa shakti strong? So sankalpa becomes strong when our mind is focused, but our mind is divided in multiple places. So because of that, we cannot focus. Like you have seen lens, it just gathers the rays, and the other lens is like there is prism, it just divides the light into multiple rays. Our mind is acting like that prism, it is simply getting dividing more and more. But if we'll act as lens, it will focus, then there will be energy. So that's why we have to become firmly resolved that I will do this only. So we should have priorities, that which activity is most important for me. But when mind is divided, I want to do this also, that also. Mostly people don't have sankalpa, they just have vikalpa. Let me do this also, that also. You're sitting at home and you just think, let us go here, go there. You don't have any sankalpa. Somebody says, let us go here. You say that, oh, okay, fine, let's go there. So there is lack of sankalpa.
थैंक यू।
ठीक है.
संदीप जी,
प्रणाम बाबा जी महाराज। सो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि जैसे आपने
So
समझाया कि
the
मतलब
question is, as you explained, that we say that this is a generation gap. Teenagers say about generation gap,
वो कोई देखना भी नहीं चाहते किसी ज्ञान की तरफ
and they don't want to get any knowledge.
है कि उनको बस छोड़ देना
Is there any solution for this, or we should just leave them to themselves that they will learn by experience?
हाँ, उसका सॉल्यूशन यही है कि उनसे आप
So the solution is that
बात करके उनकी
first you
बात को
talk to
समझिए,
them nicely
उनको ऐसा
and
मानिए
hear
कि
them.
आप उनके शिक्षक
Don't
हैं।
make them feel that you are
जब आप सोचते हैं ना कि हम
their
शिक्षक हैं,
instructor,
आप सोच रहे हैं कि वो आपसे ज्यादा जानते हैं, तो उनके अहंकार को चोट
because
लगती है। ऐसा
then
नहीं
what
करना
happens,
चाहिए लाइफ में।
you are just attacking their
तो
ego.
आप तो हमेशा
So
सोचते
this
हैं
is
कि
all game of ahankar.
मैं बड़ा हूँ,
So the
आप
father
छोटे हैं।
thinks that I am
और
superior,
देखिए,
I am
वो केवल बड़ा ही
respectable,
चाहता है।
and the son doesn't want to
जब
give
हमें
respect.
परिस्थिति को समझना होगा तो उसके
So you
साथ
have to
बैठ के उसको
understand the
गलत
situation,
व्यवहार करो, उससे
and
पूछो,
you have to behave with
तो
him
धीरे
like a
धीरे वो
friend.
खुलेगा और तब धीरे धीरे
Then he
उसका
will open up
सच्चाई
slowly, and then slowly you try to explain to him by
तब
giving
उसको दिखेगा,
example, by
वो
maybe
सोचता
telling
है
some
कि
story.
ये मेरा बाप है और मेरे
But
ऊपर
if
गर्व है,
he
तो
keeps thinking that he is just
उसका इज्जत
ordering me, is
करेगा।
my father, then he will go against, he will rebel only.
इस तरह से होता है। तो इसके लिए बहुत धैर्य चाहिए।
So that needs lot of
सबको
patience.
अपने अहंकार को नीचे रखना पड़ेगा।
You have to keep your ahankar
अगर
down.
आप अपना अहंकार दिखाते
Then
रहेंगे
only something is possible. If you just keep showing your ahankar, then nothing is possible.
धन्यवाद।
नवीन जी।
प्रणाम बाबा जी। सो अभी ये अर्जुन ने अभी जो
So
युद्ध
the
में
question is that Arjun, now he doesn't want to fight.
बंधुओं से ममत्व है।
It is because he has got mamatva towards his relatives. Is this the only reason, or he is feeling afraid also?
यही कारण
So answer, no, he doesn't have any fear. The only reason is that his possessiveness will get destroyed. That is the only fear. Otherwise, he doesn't have any fear. He doesn't have any fear that he will lose and all. He is not fearing as a Kshatriya. His fear is that if they all die, nothing will remain. That is the Vishad.
क्योंकि हमारा जीवन में कोई कुछ समस्या आ गए तो अब पहले हम
Because what happens is that when we face some problem in our life, we become afraid
बोल के
that we may lose.
हारने की कहाँ बात है? वो तो सीधा कह रहा है कि लड़ने
But
से
in
कोई
Arjuna's
फर्क नहीं
case,
पड़ता, मैं
what
जिस
to speak
मैदान में
of
जाऊं,
losing, he
लड़ने
doesn't
से
even want to fight only.
अगर वो लड़ने की बात करता तब तो हारने की
If he
बात
would
करता।
have spoken of fighting, then there would be some question of fear of loss.
तो कहता मैं लड़ना ही नहीं चाहता हूँ, नयोत से
He doesn't even want to fight.
वो स्पष्ट ही कहेगा कि मैं लड़ना नहीं चाहता।
He's telling very clearly.
तो लड़ने से फिर डरने की कहाँ से बात आ गई? क्या हारने से? हार जीत का सवाल ही नहीं।
So there is no question of victory or loss.
प्रश्न तो तब आता है
Because he is not even interested in fighting. The question of victory or loss arises when he will be ready to fight.
गांडी मेरे हाथ से फिसलता हुआ जा रहा है।
The Gandiva bow is slipping from his hand. He's such a big warrior. Why can he not lift his Gandiva?